Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something different. We're doing the review on the XYL ARP9, also known as the Little Moon ARP9. This one was given to me by Jay from Blaster Bits to borrow for a little bit to be able to do the review and gameplay. So Jay, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. He also gave me a tracer unit to grab some footage with and tracer gels. So again, Jay, thank you very much. Without further ado, let's get inside the box, check out what's in there, and get our hands on the Little Moon ARP9. Now just quickly before we get stuck into the review, this is my first review. I've never actually showed my face on the channel before, but here it is, so don't diss it too much. I can take a bit of a kick, but I know some things like lighting aren't going to be the greatest, and the sound, this is just the normal microphone off the GoPro Hero 8. In future, if you guys do like this review, I will spend some more money on getting things like microphones, etc. To make it a bit better. But any criticism that you've got, put it in the comments below, and I'll take that on board, and hopefully the next one, whatever that may be, is a bit better. So let's get into it. Rightio, here we go, the ARP9 by XYL, or Little Moon. Couple of Blaster Bit stickers. Thanks Jay again for letting me use this blaster for the review. On the outside, it's quite nice boxing. There was a few people that mentioned crystal sucking model launcher. Doesn't suck, but anyways. So in here we've obviously got another sticker from Jay. Start with the magazine. These magazines are bloody sturdy. They're strong as. They've got a nice little latch here. These ones are incredibly hard to open with gloves on. I tried this at the CQB. Ended up running a right hand without a glove so I could reload, especially when I only had the one magazine. But there are more coming. Pretty standard magazine, I suppose. A couple of terminals on there to power up the motor. The motor does, in the base of the magazine, does have a clutch on there. So once the gel balls feed up the tube to the T-piece, the clutch then clicks so that you know to stop priming the magazine. But yeah, that's the magazine. That's that one. We'll put that aside. Comes with a 7.4 volt 1200 milliamp battery. No, it did not come with the Deans on there. Jay put that on there because that's the standard sort of connector that we use. Nothing too special about that. Charger, normal 3-pin USB. In the bag you get 2 Allen keys, you get 2 iron sights. Open these up and have a look. So these are just nylon. Bit of rough stuff on there, not sure if you can see that on the camera. Might be a bit hard. It's a bit of rough stuff there from the mold, I suppose, but nothing you can't clean up. Iron sights and a height adjuster. Not too bad, but I'd rather put a red dot on there. Rightio, here's the beast itself. ARP9. been waiting a fair while for this thing to come out. I've been excited ever since I've seen the release video. Get rid of the box here. Rightio, let's start from the back. So we've got the stock here. It's adjustable. It's two places of adjustment. So that's all the way in. It's nice and short, perfect for CQB. And if you're like me and you like to have it a little bit further out and get a good grip on it, it extends right out. So that's that one. Now this pulls off. Put that aside to give you access to the battery. So here's the battery compartment. There's a little press button there. Pop that open. Dean's connector again. Jay from Blaster Bits put that one on there. That's the standard connector we all use. I'll try to get you a visual in that one. There is a MOSFET in there. MOSFET works really well. So far I've used it on the standard 7 volt and my 11 volt battery, and it handles it really well. I guess time will tell as to whether or not these things will burn out. But as I said, time will tell. So moving it down the blaster, we've got the mag prime. Also pops the latch there, the hatch I should say. I don't like this blue. If it was my own personal blaster, I'd be pulling that out and either painting it or just leaving it out completely. But yeah, not a big fan of that blue. The mag prime works really well. Usually at the CQB, I would prime the magazine and second shot just about always. If not first shot, I would have a gel there ready to fire. Moving down, you've got metal pins here for the receiver. That's plastic or nylon. The whole receiver is nylon. Even the stock here, that's nylon. Handle grip, nylon. The bottom plate for the motor is metal or aluminium, and so is the motor adjuster there. Moving forward again, metal trigger. That's an electronic trigger, so there's a little button in there that obviously tells the MOSFET when to fire. Moving forward, again, we're all nylon all the way up to the handguard. Even the muzzle on there is nylon. The magazine release, nylon. And inside there, you should be, so it might be a bit hard to see, there's the red gearbox. Someone mentioned this is called a Red Dragon gearbox. It's what they had in the AKs by Alpha Kings. So that's it. Nylon handguard. This does feel a little bit loose to me. I'm not sure if that can be tightened, but we'll have a look at that. Overall, this thing is heavy. It feels really nice, but definitely heavy. It's also loud. With this muzzle, it has a real nice pop. It's something I've definitely not heard before. But yeah, when you're shooting, it's a really nice popping sound. I don't think there's much else to show you in this one. Can't think of anything. The pins through the front of the handguard are metal as well. See if those will tighten up that flex to try and get rid of that. Now that we've had a quick look over the blaster and the things that come in the box, I just want to plug in the 7-volt battery and show you how it fires. Now I've purposely left this battery flat to show you how the MOSFET handles a flat battery. Should work for a little bit, and then the MOSFET will tell me otherwise. Single shot, full auto. Single, auto. Now that's my finger still on the trigger. That was the MOSFET stopping the gun from shooting because the battery is at a low charge. It stops again. So you let your finger off the trigger, pull it, it works, and then it just stops because the battery voltage gets too low. It's a real good thing, especially for lipos. You definitely don't want to drain those down too much. The nylons, they can handle it, but still not a good idea. So it's going to save your batteries and definitely make them last a bit longer. Get my elbow out the way. Here I've got one of my normal 11-volt batteries. Everyone I know, or most people I know, run these or the Airsoft Turnigy batteries. I bought these because they were a little bit cheaper and they've been working fine. So we'll put that in. Now these things have a lot of room in the buff tube there. If it didn't have the MOSFET, it'd have a lot more again. So we'll sit that in there, plug in Dean's connector. That trigger's a lot more responsive now. One thing I don't like about this, and I suppose you could modify it, is the trigger travel would be 10 plus mil at the base there, and then where it activates is right there. It's only a very small activation spot. So I suppose you could space that out and make it so that you don't have this free play, and it would make it a lot better. Full auto. This thing pumps. That's stock standard, and that is just unreal. Still makes me laugh now when I hear about it, and I've played a full night's worth of gaming with this, and yeah, just hearing that is pretty cool, I reckon. We'll unplug this battery, and actually I'll plug that back in and show you quickly the mag priming. So obviously the mag prime, you pull this back, the side latch or flap is going to open, and you'll be able to hear the motor in the magazine. That's the mag prime. Yeah, I played with this Thursday night, and that mag prime was actually pretty helpful. Just having the one magazine, every time I go back to the respawn, put some gels in, I'd be able to just give it a quick probably 2 seconds to feed those gels up the tube there. It makes another sort of grinding noise with the clutch on the little gear that pushes the gels up. That way you know that it's fully loaded right up to the top, to the T-piece there. And yeah, either first shot or second shot, you'd have a gel there and you're ready to go. So that is really handy, and it's nice of them to start putting that feature in gel blasters, or more of them, I should say. So that's that. We're going to head over to my phone. We're going to have a look through some of the comments and questions, and hopefully we can answer those. Rightio, so now we're going to go through your Facebook comments and questions on the Facebook page and answer them one by one. So Ryan Richards asked, do HLF mags work in the XYL and vice versa? Richard, no, the HLF magazines don't fit the XYL. I believe the mag terminal spacings are different. That's all I can think of. I haven't got a HLF magazine on me at the moment to be able to do some measurements or anything, but I do know from seeing other reviews and videos that the HLF magazine does not fit the XYL, which is a bit of a shame, because if you have both, if you wanted to do that, you'd have to have spare mags for each unit. Brett McNamara asks, what is the cost? I guess it depends who you get it from, and which one it is as well. So the ARP9, there's only two, the XYL ARP9 or the Little Moon, there's only two places I can think that are stocking it at the moment. There'll obviously be more after Chinese New Year, stopping the postage coming in and whatnot, because everyone's having a holiday over there. The only two places I can think of are M4A1 Gel Blasters. They had a Facebook post, they had a container load of them coming in, and they were about they were $250, and they give you an extra magazine. Next Gen Blasters, I've got one coming from them, $250, and I believe they're in Australia now, and M4A1, they won't be till early February. Ezra asks, with playing fields becoming more popular, what type of field would suit this? Outdoor examples, outdoor and cover fields. Will the ARP9 excuse me, last a whole day on the field without having any major issues? I'm more interested in the practical use instead of internals. This one, or the ARP9s, are really suited for indoor CQB. From my gaming experience with this, as you can see in the video, again, in the description below there'll be a link. It's very accurate. There was mention in another video by Galapagos J, or Jay if you're watching, he mentioned that there was a hop-up effect built in to the barrel. He got that information from the manufacturer, I believe. I couldn't see it. If it's there, I didn't notice it. But yeah, it'd be very hard to put a hop up on this thing, just the way that the muzzle's designed, and the inner barrel, they're very tight within the outer barrel. And that, I'm guessing that's what gives you such a good accuracy. So yeah, Ezra, to answer your first question, yeah, it's really built for indoor CQB. I guess you could use it outdoor as well, but you need short contact distances, and it's perfect for going through covers, doorways, round corners, etc. because it's so short. It's almost like running with a pistol, with a high rate of fire and good accuracy. Ezra also asks, will the ARP9 last a whole day on the field without having any major issues? As I mentioned before, this gearbox was in the Alpha King's AKs. Well, as I've been told, it's the red nylon box. I believe they called it the Red Dragon box, something like that. I've heard it's a really good gearbox. This comes standard with metal gears. So as long as they've been shimmed correctly out of the factory, I can't see you're going to have any dramas. It'll be very interesting to see how the MOSFET system goes and whether or not it lasts. But my experience so far, it's been good. Hasn't broken down. I haven't had any dramas. Yeah, all I can say is time will tell, especially with that MOSFET. Jamie Jelsoff asked, does it exclude big PP energy or small PP energy? I've put this thing through the Chrono. We'll do a Chrono video after the questions. It was doing anywhere between 250 and 260 feet per second out of the box. For a blaster out of the box, I think that's really good, especially for something that's built for CQB, close quarter contact. The Perth GBG indoor CQB field, the limit is 250 FPS, and that's just so that we don't scare any new players or even younger kids that come down and play. You don't want them getting too hurt and not wanting to come back. But yeah, 250 to 260 straight out of the box. Whether or not that'll be all of them out of the box that come out of the factory, time will tell, but we'll see. Stephen Nash asks, probably only be answered with extended use, but would like to know how reliable the MOSFET is. Sort of touched on that before. You know, as you've said, time will tell. I played CQB the other night with the 11 volt. It handled it really well. When those batteries, when both the 11 volt and the 7.4 volt, when they were getting flat or lower on voltage, it would stop, and obviously you need to change your battery out then. But like you've said, mate, yeah, we've just got to run them, put them through their paces. It'll be interesting to see if any cook themselves, being a little computer board, but hopefully they don't. Barry Redfern asks, when will they be widely available? Do you know how much they will cost? Then all the technical questions everyone else has already asked. Thanks, Barry, for your question, and thanks everyone else for your questions as well, obviously. When will they be widely available? Touched on this bit before. Because of Chinese New Year, the factories are slowed down producing them, if not stopped. And I believe postage and shipping is getting a little bit difficult from what I know. But I would say by the end of February, should be plenty of them in stores. And I know there's quite a few other stores that will be getting them in, as well as the HLF. By the way, the HLF is in stores as of today. Just got to find them. I know X-Force got 10 in today, but I'd say it's going to be a bit of a fight as to who gets those 10. Do you know how much they'll cost? As I said before, about 250 bucks. Zaid Julius asks, mag capacity, internal specs, battery specs, and of course feet per second out of the box. Zaid, what do we got here? So the mag capacity of these are about 150 joules. I've got that off of Blaster Bits commenting on here. I don't actually know myself, but I'd say 150 joules is fairly close. Internal specs, you've got, as I've said before, you've got metal gears. You've got an alloy 50% ported cylinder, alloy cylinder head and nozzle. It's shimmed, and we've got the MOSFET in there. The battery, is a 1200 milliamp 7.4 battery. When you buy the blaster, first thing you want to do is not put this in and put an 11 volt in there. It's the way to go. And being Metal Gears and the Red Drag gearbox, it'll definitely handle that 11 volt. And as to your FPS question as well, 250 feet per second. Nick Poulos asks feet per second out of the box, and weight and build quality. Build quality is awesome. The whole thing is nylon. You've got a metal trigger, you've got a metal fire selector, metal whatever they call this. The mag primer is plastic. Overall, it's quite heavy. So the weight on this one is 1.4 kilos. For a blaster this size, it's pretty heavy. Gerhard, I think I'm saying that wrong, sorry if I'm not. He asked, one is HLF and the other is XYL. What's the difference? From what I've seen, the HLF version has a V2 gearbox, as this one does, but it's a War Interest gearbox, has metal gears. It doesn't have a MOSFET, it's just your standard sort of trigger like you get in a Gen 9 or Gen 10 with the contact in there. Apparently, looking at other videos, the build quality is not as good, but Daniel Hennessy has got into the comments. I believe Daniel's from Gel Blasters Australia. Hey Daniel, if you're watching, he said the Little Moon is a cheaper copy, lower quality receiver and parts, MOSFETs blow, and less metal parts. I'll be getting the HLF in the coming weeks. This way we can compare them and go from there. But I'm going to take what Daniel said on board, and time will tell. Jacob Norris asked differences between HLF and XYL ARP9s. Mentioned a few bits and pieces there just in that last question. The HLF does have a different magazine to the XYL, which was also mentioned. And as Daniel has said, apparently the Little Moon is of lesser quality. Also, the HLF does not have mag prime, I know that as well. Jai Wells asks, what size battery can you fit? Jai, anything that fits in a M4, like a Gen 9, will fit in this blaster for sure. It has a hell of a lot more room in there than a say Gen 9 does. This gives you obviously plenty of room to fit fit a battery in there, but the MOSFET does take up a bit of room as well. It's got like a capacitor sitting on top of the chipboard, so it does stick up a little bit, but yeah, you're going to fit batteries in this thing, no worries at all. Monty asks, cylinder head and nozzle style. I believe the nozzle is of standard V2 gel blaster nozzle, and apparently it's an alloy nozzle. Cylinder head, I believe, is alloy as well, and that information has come from Jay at Blaster Bits, answered in a previous question. I will probably, if Jay allows me, pull this thing apart and film it. Liam asks, can you take some photos of the gearbox? Again, if Jay allows me, I'll film it and post it in another video. Looks like Jai Wells has got in there again. Who's stocking them? As I've said, the ones I can think of right now are M4A1 gel blasters and next gen blasters. I'd say after Chinese New Year, a lot of other stores will be getting stock in, and you'll be able to get them, I'd say late February, they'd be widely available. Let's move on to a Chrono Shoot and see what this thing's pushing. So I'm just going to film filling up the magazine. You do have to pop this annoying little latch. If you've got gloves on, it's impossible. You got to take your glove off to open that. If you know any tricks for that, let me know. I'd love to know. I've got the LTD Milkies, the red packet ones. I use these a lot. They're a bit cheaper than anything else that I can find, and consistency is really good. So that's what I use. I found myself some high quality Jinming Gel Blaster safety glasses. Don't use these on the field, guys. They're junk. Just go to Bunnings, buy a decent set of glasses. I'd rather no one lost their eyes. But I'm going to use it for the Chrono Test. So, magazine's loaded. Put that in. Mag prime, and I'll put this nice and close to the camera so you can hear the difference in sound once the gels have fed up to the T-piece. There we go, they're fed up. Make sure she fires. First shot that had a gel in it. Also forgot to mention, Jay from Blaster Bits has lent me his chrono to allow me to show you what it's shooting. Sit it on the edge of the desk here. .240, 238, 240, 208, 238, 240, 240, 244, 227, 244, 232, 236, 224, 240. Full auto. 242, 232. It's a little bit less than what we were getting at the CQB. I think it might be because these gels are close to a week old without sitting in water, so they might be smaller in size, and that might just be what's affecting it. But I'll post a photo here now. This is a photo Jay took with some fresh gels, and as you can see, it's shooting anywhere between 240 to 255 without a problem. So that's the Chrono Test. About 230. As I said, Jay got a lot more. I think it's just the gels that I've got. They've not been in water for a week, so they might have just shrunk that little bit. So guys, that's all your questions answered on the XYL ARP9. I hope I've answered them all. Again, this is my first review on a gel blaster. I guess you could say I've got half an idea of what I'm looking at. And again, the lighting's not going to be so great. The audio is probably not going to be so great. But if you enjoyed the review and you want me to make some more, again, leave some constructive criticism down below, and I'll take them on board and get the next video in a better quality, hopefully. So there you have it, the XYL Little Moon ARP9. Thanks for watching the review, guys. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below or in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.